Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It is our first call-in on Discord tonight. We will be taking your calls, very excited, but no more money for Mourinho. Dig it? That's what I say. I say no more money. And this is in response to reports today that Jose Mourinho has given Ed Woodward an ultimatum saying that we're not going to improve unless you buy me a centre-back. I mean, we had the stock exchange talk from Woodward yesterday where he said it's been a mixed start to the season, but momentum is there to grow at Manchester United and this full support from the players and the manager. I personally would say, and I want to get your opinions on this, I personally would say do not give this man another penny. I look at Lukaku, £90 million including add-ons, £75 million paid, £15 million with add-ons. I look at Alexis Sanchez, £30 million and 400 grand a week. £30 million because we gave them Mkhitaryan, who must be worth about £30 million. That's £120 million and 400 grand a week. We could have got a Cardi for that. In fact, we probably could have got a Cardi and a decent winger for that. And I think this is the problem. I look at Jose Mourinho and look at the big list of money that he has spent, and I think, do not give him another penny. And he talks about centre-backs like one centre-back's going to make us a decent team. Is one centre-back going to make us be able to play the ball from back to front and bypass Matic? What is this one super centre-back that Mourinho wants? Is he like an all-action 99 at everything? He stops all goals, he wins all headers, and not only that, he can play super 60-yard passes to our wingers and bypass our crap midfield. I mean, it's ridiculous. One centre-back will not make us better. You could stick Van Dijk, you could stick Alderweireld, you could stick Chiellini, Godin in our centre-back on their own. They're still going to be surrounded by Ashley Young, Antonio Valencia, Chris Smalling. It will not Matic in front of them. One centre-back does not make a difference. And I personally think that this manager does not deserve another penny. I'm not saying sack him. Well, I am. But that's not the agenda here. What I'm saying is, crack on with what you've got. You've had enough bloody money. Your Wikipedia page says you're the best manager in the world. Crack on with what you've got. You bought Bailly, you've bought Lindelof, you've bought Matic, you've bought Lukaku, you've bought Pogba, you've bought Fred, you've bought all these players. Bloody use them. Don't have any more money. And it terrifies me to give him more money because that means he's staying for a long time. Also, what you might want to talk about tonight, Fred's come out and said that City made an offer, but he wanted to play for Mourinho. I wonder if he still feels that way when he sat on our bench watching the land of giants in our midfield plod about. Lingard with a banger yesterday. What is it about United players that perform better on the international stage than they do at home? Look at Lukaku as well. Look, I'd score goals for Belgium, but the reality is they do create chances for him. Why are we not doing that? Antonio Valencia, international duty. There's always a bit of meat. He says, played for Valencia. He played for his country yesterday. He said, it's tactical while I'm not being picked. I've got to accept that Ashley Young's better than me at the moment. I don't know whether he needs to accept that or not. But lots and lots to talk about. I'm going to take my first call. Fingers crossed this is going to work. Anti-Imperialism says this is a very poor Manchester United squad, but we should have our first caller coming through around about now, and it should be Paul. Can you hear me, Paul?
I can hear you, mate, yeah.
It works. The system works. Well, there you go. At Landmark, no more Skype Goldbridge. Thank God for that. The system crashes every time. We're on to Discord. If you want to get on the Discord server, the link is in the video description. Get yourself on there because that's where we'll be taking calls from now. But it's also much more than that. You can be chatting to people 24/7 in our match chat, in our video chats. You can be doing text chats. There's loads to go on. But you are the first guest, Paul. Anything in particular you want to talk about tonight? Or do you want me to just fire in and say, would you give Jose Mourinho more money?
Well, there's loads I could talk about, but I don't want to go over the same rhetoric and the same points I go over all the time, which is what I seem to go off on a tangent and end up doing. But so yeah, and to answer your question, I mean, if we were to go through the links, the quite tangible links that Mourinho's had to players that he wants to bring in, who exactly have we got? We've got
Alderweireld and Boateng, isn't it, really?
Boateng, Perisic, Matic, Sanchez we brought in, Willian, Alderweireld, now we've got Godin, Cahill. If we bring these, and who did he want to sell in the summer? He wanted to sell Martial. He didn't want Pogba at one particular time. Shaw was looking unsteady in terms of getting any particular game time, so he could have gone. I mean, what are we going to be left with? We know Mourinho is a short-term manager. He doesn't stay at clubs. It's a fact. He's not going to be here in 2 years' time, probably at the end of the season. So if we'd have given him everything that he wanted to try and win a league, to basically back up his own stats and give himself credibility for moving on from Manchester United, which is what would have been in his mind to do, he wouldn't be doing it for Man United because he owes nothing to us and we owe nothing to him. And once he leaves Man United, he won't care a shit about us. That's a fact. Where would we be?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because we've been doing these shows all week, and I do detect a lot of, across all social media. I'm not going to be United Stand exclusive because that, you know, the United Stand's a great community and I think we get really good opinions on here, but I do look at other things as well, and there's so much frustration out there amongst the fan base. I mean, I even saw people today putting their bloody season tickets up on Twitter to sell them, and I think, you know, people, United fans are despairing, but then you get, I don't know what you thought about what Ed Woodward said yesterday. I mean, I personally wouldn't sack Ed Woodward. Shock horror, I wouldn't. I'd just put somebody in who knows football and leave Ed Woodward to the business side of things because he's brilliant at that. But he comes out with, it's been a mixed start to the season, but the players and the manager are confident they can get the season back on track. I mean, Fulham have just sacked their manager who got them promoted. The way I just think there are the realists. I mean, I likened it to Brexit this afternoon. There are the realists with Manchester United, and there are the camels, the ostriches who bury their head in the sand. And we did a poll actually this just an hour before we went live saying, should Mourinho be given more money in January? 5,000 votes, 57% say yes. You know, it just shows you the division.
Right, Ed Woodward's a businessman and a politician. He's saying everything that people want to hear because he knows it's the right thing to say. Mourinho is also a politician, and they're both very intelligent people, and they feed a certain rhetoric to people and a certain agenda to people that people gobble up and believe, and then, you know, with Mourinho it becomes a cult figure and nothing can be said against him. And other people see through the facade for the facts. You know, there's what he feeds out, and then there are cold, hard facts. And they're two completely different things. And his deflection tactics in terms of mediocre performances, bad football, are amazing. I mean, because they work. It's the best. I think you said it. The best trick that Mourinho's performed is to make people believe that what we have at present is acceptable at Manchester United because people are believing it.
But I've heard this, Paul. I remember you saying that back in March. I remember you saying that vividly on a Skype show, and you said the danger is, because we were speaking about the Sevilla thing and what he said, and you said the problem is, if that was an isolated incident, what he'd said after Sevilla, the fans would be in uproar. But he does it so regularly, it almost dilutes how much he's doing wrong and then drags the low expectations down.
You shrug your shoulders because it's, you know, it's Mourinho. But if Pochettino did it, there'd be uproar. Pochettino, everything other managers say is a positive spin on things. You know, I'll back my players in a positive way. He had a bad day. He you know, I know what qualities he had, but he didn't show them today. Mourinho just throws them under the players under the bus. But you know, I'm going off on tangent again. If we give money to Mourinho in January and he goes out and buys a Varane, or he goes out and buys a Malcolm, or he goes out and buys an Ousmane Dembele, and he goes out and buys a player which we know can develop under in Man United, not necessarily under Mourinho, give him money. If we're going to give him money for a Toby Alderweireld who's 29, a Godin, a Cahill, or anybody to bolster his current reputation as Man United manager so he can leave whenever it is with his reputation intact, then no, because that is what he's doing it for. His agenda is his own. I definitely believe that. I don't think he does anything for Man United at the moment because he knows he's not going to be here for very long. And if he asks for money and doesn't get it, which he did in the summer and will in January, then when he does finally leave or get fired, he can say, well, how could I achieve what I wanted to achieve when they wouldn't give me what I wanted? So he sees it as a chess game. He's always 6 steps ahead. And that's what I believe anyway. That isn't cold hard facts. That's my opinion on it. But Mourinho's agenda is his own. He wants to win the title for himself, not for Man United. He wants to keep his legacy
Mourinho
intact.
United.
And that's the way I believe he sees it. Because everything he says is defending his reputation. He never says we, he says I. He never says Manchester United, he says me.
Yeah,
So
it's a very third-party
that's
approach.
the way I
to
see
everything,
Mourinho's agenda is, and that's what upsets me about how much he's backed. Because I don't think when he leaves the club, he's going to throw it under the bus.
100%. That is you spot on there. Anybody who thinks Mourinho's not going to come out when he's not under a United contract and absolutely throw us under the bus and
all
have a
guns
pop and say,
blazing,
wasn't
Mark.
my
He's
fault,
going to come out and say they didn't give me what I wanted. Behind the scenes, it's not good enough. The players that were bought weren't my players. I didn't want Pogba. He was, it's going to be. I wasn't allowed to put the team out. The agenda, there was an agenda again. He'll come out of all the excuses in the world because he's already doing it. He's lowering expectations and already using excuses at the moment, and he's still with the club.
I actually think he will end up
from
with a
Sevilla
legacy.
onwards, when he said you should expect to go out of the Champions League at this stage. From then on,
I think his legacy will end up being worse than Van Halen Moyes.
And they're still being gobbled up by some people, and I don't understand it.
Yeah. I think, as I was just saying there, I think his legacy at United will end up being worse than Van Halen Moyes. I think he will end up being despised. Even the people who are Mourinho in now, I think the stuff he'll come out with after he's gone, he will be despised because all he's bothered about is himself. But I must get some of the callers on, Paul, but thanks for being the first Discord server call. Cool. And really appreciate it.
Beginning of a new era, Mark. This Discord thing's going to be absolutely legendary. Sorry for being so negative, but when I get on a certain rhetoric, I can't help myself. And I'll just say what I believe and what I think's true. It isn't necessarily facts, but that's how I feel. So appreciate the time, mate. Hope Discord goes well, and I'll catch you in a bit.
Cheers, Paul. Look, Discord is link in the video description. This is going to grow over the next coming weeks and months. It's absolutely fantastic. I'll explain it to the newbies at the end, but what you need to do is use the link in the video description because that's an invite to our Discord server. Great call. A lot of people saying that. Also, I saw somebody saying Gary Cahill in the January. Wouldn't surprise me. Terrible signing, would not surprise me. Also, people saying, why are you wearing this top? I'm wearing this because people have asked me to wear this. I think it deserves a like on the video, to be honest. This is the top the United stand wore to beat Arsenal Fan TV 3-1. So this is the kit that we wore. We had to get it at the last minute. It really should have a badge here as well. But this is the United stand kit at the moment, the official kit. It will be better for the next game, but this is the one that it was. There's something just there as well. We're going to take another call, but I just want to say as well, I tweeted this morning, and this is what irritates me, is that we've spent £400 million, Lukaku, Sanchez, Matic, not fantastic signings. And then I look at what Chelsea have done in the last couple of years. They signed Kante when they weren't in the Champions League. They signed Kante for Conte. That was Conte's signing, and they weren't even in the Champions League. Why were we not in for Conte? Kovacic goes to Chelsea last summer, a brilliant midfielder that we should have gone for. There's so many signings that have happened in the last couple of years that United could have been looking at. I mean, you could even make a case, why weren't we in for Van Dijk? There's been some really good signings out there that have moved from clubs for prices that would be in our price range, and we've looked at alternative crap targets. And for me, that is on Mourinho, because Matic is his signing, Lukaku is his signing. Anyway, we should have another call coming through. Can you hear me? I'm not currently looking.
Hello?
Hello? Who am I talking to?
Hello?
Hello? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You alright, Mark?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Who is it?
Yeah, it's RVP20.
Alright, mate. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, first off, big fan of the channel, mate. You and everybody at United Stand. So thanks a lot for representing us all. I appreciate it. I think everybody else does as well. Yeah, I mean, after Sunday, I was already Mourinho out as it was, but after Sunday, I just thought I can't give him any more. I can't give him any more chances. And like I said, I've been out for a while now. But how do you go there and set up like that, and not even try and have a goal or anything like that? It's just ridiculous. And we all know there's more trouble than just Mourinho. It's other stuff as well. But he's the one that's putting the nail in the coffin, and it's not good enough. He should be gone. It's as simple as that.
You know what, though? What I would say is, I'm Mourinho out. I agree with you. I have been for a long time. But I fully expect United, over the next 5 games, to get double points. We've got Palace, we've got Fulham, we've got Southampton, we've got Arsenal at home, which we normally win, and then we've got Liverpool away, which will park the bus and we might get a draw. And what will happen is that fans will start drifting back, going, yeah, we're winning games, Mourinho in. Do you feel that you can be pulled back from that? What would it take for you to pull him back? Because I've said, for me, he needs to win games playing good football till at least February. I'm not, Christmas isn't that far away now. The John Lewis advert's out. I'm not interested in a good run till Christmas. For me, it's got to be till February. It's got to be good football, and it can't be parking the bus of when we're playing big teams. So for you, do you think he can turn it around, and what would it take for you as a United fan to sort of jump back behind Jose?
Well, if he wants to save any sort of dignity for himself, never mind the fans, then I think he'll be gone at the end of the season. But if he wants to leave himself any sort of legacy or dignity with Manchester United, then he should be going all guns blazing. And I don't mean that as in making the players play until they've got injuries, but he should be going out there with a good tactics, not pragmatic and sitting behind the ball and letting the other teams play. Like you were saying on after the game on Sunday, you shouldn't be inviting stuff like that. You shouldn't just be setting up the game to try and defend and come away with a point. It's a derby. You should be going there to kick the crap out of them. Do you know what I mean? It's what football's all about. And for me, he can't bring it back for me. But if he wants any sort of little bit of respect off me or anybody else, then he should be playing the type of football that Manchester United have always been playing, and that's attacking down the flanks, getting the ball in the box. Good one-touch passes, 1-2, stuff like that. But it's not. It's just Fellaini and Matic in the middle, and there's no flair about the team, and that's what's annoying.
You know what? I mean, you just hit on something there. You've mentioned Sunday a couple of times, and this is why pretty much every show this week I've tried to keep the intensity and I've quite tried to keep the agenda going. Not Mourinho out agenda, just that this position we're in is unacceptable. And I agree with you. Going to Man City, parking a bus, making Fellaini your focal point because you just want to defend high balls. And yet this week again, you've got over 50% of people voting saying give Mourinho money. There's people who are just sat there thinking, oh, he'll turn it around. I think it's just so sad that fellow United fans have accepted this position. Like, oh yeah, maybe we'll get top 4. It's year 3 with Mourinho, and I just don't get what I don't get. And I keep asking somebody to call in and tell me, why are you Mourinho in? I mean, do you understand what it is that makes some United fans?
You're not going to get that off me. You're not going to get that off me. I'm still Mourinho out. But one thing that I just wanted to mention, Mark, if you don't mind, the one thing that I really can't stand about it, and I think that it's really sort of snake-like. It's snake-like tactics when it comes to how he conducts himself in these interviews after the game. He'll never take responsibility. He'll never admit. Now, maybe it might just be a managerial thing that you never do it. It's an unwritten rule. But he will never take responsibility for a defeat. It's always on the players. And I know the players are on the pitch. But if he's setting the tactics out, then ultimately it's down to him. If he just owned up and said, you know what, I got it wrong this time, next time I'll get it right, I would have a lot more respect for him, and I might still be on the Jose Mourinho in, but he always deflects the blame. And to me, that's the sort of character that I don't want at a Manchester United club. I want somebody that's going to be passionate, he's going to tell the truth, and if the truth hurts, then so be it for the good of the club. And I just can't stand the deflection, and it knocks players' confidence, and you just can't have that at a big club like us. It's just not acceptable.
Well, thanks for calling in, mate. Really enjoyed it. A lot of people saying great caller as well. And love the name as well, RVP20. Absolutely brilliant. And please do call in again.
Oh, well, cheers, Mark.
Cheers,
good luck
pal.
to everybody on the chat as well. Great show.
Have a good weekend, pal. You know what I was going to say as well is that it's we really have to look at the situation and sort of say, look, this is the United stand. It's open for everybody. If you're Mourinho in, come on and tell us how you are. But I think what people are fighting for now is the identity of Manchester United. That's what I feel I'm fighting for. I couldn't give two hoots about Mourinho, really. I like him as an individual and what he's achieved through my lifetime as a great manager. He's part of it. I watched a brilliant documentary last night on BBC4 about Alex Higgins, who when I was growing up was just an absolute genius snooker player. He drank, he basically a bit like George Best, drank himself to death, really. And, the latter stages of his life were very sad. But you concentrate on the good. And with Mourinho, he's a great, great manager. But just very quickly, I think we've got another call coming in. But I did this on my FIFA thing today. And I know not everyone watches my FIFA thing on That's Football. But I said, look, the United situation at the moment and Brexit, if you're in the UK, you'll know that Brexit is basically going to destroy the UK. People voted to leave Europe without a plan set in place. They voted on lies. They voted because people like Boris Johnson and his bus saying we're going to save all this money. People were like, I'll have a bit of that. And then none of it was true. Well, United and Brexit are very, 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 very similar, because you've got your Mourinho inners who are a bit like the people who voted for Brexit. They voted for it on a lie and they still believe the lie. You know, they still believe the bus. They still believe the Boris Johnson with his stupid hair, Fellaini, and they still believe Mourinho, Theresa May, with the Wikipedia page saying, look, we're going to make this great. But then you've got the realists, the people like us who were Mourinho out, saying, look, your promises are based on lies and the past, and we don't like you part of the bus, and Fellaini should know, Boris Johnson should be nowhere near our team. And United are very much like that. We're a divided fan base with people who are staunchly behind Mourinho and people who are staunchly not. And the reality is, I will eat my shoes if Mourinho turns this around. I cannot see it, but I cannot tell you how long it's going to take for it to all go apart. Have we got another caller waiting to come on? Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, hello?
Hello? Yeah, who am I talking to?
This is Barry.
Barry.
How are you doing, Mark?
I'm good, thanks. You?
I'm functioning at this moment.
Okay, what do you want to talk about, pal?
Ooh, I have nothing in particular, but if you throw me a question, that would work well.
Okay, well, I have, fortunately enough, I do have questions, I always do. The one that really does spring to mind is that Jesse Lingard last night scored a great goal. His performance was good. I thought America were bad, but we've seen that with Rashford as well. We see it with Lukaku for Belgium. You know, why do you think it is that a lot of Manchester United, Pogba as well, we see a lot of United players that when they go on international duty, not only do they play very, very well, but they also play with a smile on their face and a freedom that we don't see at United. Is that something that concerns you, and why do you think that is?
It is a concern, and that is mostly because of the system they go into. It's a very well-structured system. Everybody has a good role, and they know what they're doing, especially in France. France is fun because I think Jose is trying to replicate a B-Tech France. And the difference between him and France, the style of play really, is that Jose is using donkeys, and France are using golden stallions. So that is a big difference. Again, it's a setup, and it's a confidence that the managers themselves instill in those players. And I just think Joe's activity in itself is something that spreads. This notion that negativity spreads to other people is very true. And what you say in media is not ignored by the players. And what you do, I guess, outside of the changing room and outside of the field itself, it does have an effect. And the way he carries himself it's a big issue. People don't actually take a big look at that. But yeah. Just to answer your question briefly, it is to do with this.
I don't know whether. I think we've lost Barry completely there. It was breaking up a lot as well. Can you hear? Yeah. Okay. I do. I agree with what Barry was saying. Obviously, Discord still has problems if connections are not great. But I do agree with what Barry was saying there. I think we'll get another caller coming through in a minute. But look, Michael, I agree with you. I can't do it when I'm live. It's my fault. I apologise for that. But we should get another call on at the moment. But it is interesting about that, isn't it? Why do United players go on international duty and relish it? Pogba speaks openly about loving to go to France. Lingard looked like a different player. Rashford looks like a different player. Lukaku scores a lot of goals. It is interesting, and I think it's just another indication. We've got another caller in the box. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, I think he was using Flex's internet, MK. Hello? Hello? Anybody coming in to the live show? No, they've not passed anyone through for me yet. Just waiting. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good, and we've got a nice clear connection. Right, so anything in particular you want to talk about tonight?
Nothing necessarily on my mind. More or less same as what you had with Barry, I think. Was it Barry or was it the other guy before that?
The last question to Barry was talking about... Well, I'll tell you what, I'll throw you a question as well, just to keep it a little bit interesting. Fred's come out and said that he had the option to go to Manchester City, but he wanted to come and play for Mourinho. I read that today and I laughed. I thought, right, I mean, you know, he's not going to say what he really thinks, but, I mean, Jesus Christ. This is a player that Pep wanted. Apparently he chose Manchester United. He hardly plays. He spends a lot of time watching people like McTominay, Fellaini and Matic play ahead of him. He looks... he was on the bench, wasn't he, against Man City last Sunday. He sees what they're doing. If ever there was a player that suited Man City more than us, it's Fred. We spent £50 million on the lad. What you thought about... What do you think about his comments? Do you think that's a load of nonsense, or do you think he genuinely thinks he's made the right decision?
I think it's something to do with his not seeing the full picture before coming to United. So where he's started playing, he's getting into the gist of the whole play style that we play with, and obviously it's not his attention is not really going to be based on watching how his rival teams are playing. So I think it's more or less, the more he goes through games without getting picked, it's more of a question sort of trying to find out as to why he's not getting picked. Because I'm sure he's one of the sort of players that will believe that he is good enough to be in this United team. And obviously he wants to play for this team if he is so apparently chosen us over Manchester City. And on top of that, I think where the system for Manchester City comes in is that it's obviously much more suited to the sort of style of player that Fred is. Like, he's a very agile individual. He's got great agility and he's very direct in his approach to the midfield play. And the only problem is that Fred, that's going to go through in his mind a lot more now that he's sat on the bench a lot more games and he's seeing that he's not playing. Even though he probably feels that his influence on the game is going to be that more of a positive. And on top of that, I think now that you mentioned that if he's sat on the bench watching City, I think he's going to sort of get some form of doubt in his mind as well, that perhaps maybe the City would have been a better option if he were to be really looking for that sort of play outlook, like if he wanted to play for the football. So I think it's sort of, he's going to be caught in a bit of two minds at the moment, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and I think you raise an interesting point there, because we talk about Fred, you know, at the end of the day he's playing in the Ukraine. He probably knows who Manchester United is, but does he know the intricacies, the mistake that he's made in coming to United? But I think a lot more players will be aware. You know, I watched Pulisic last night. I like him. I like Liam Bailey. I mean, any flair player or midfielder that's, you know, the modern sort of footballer, I think they will look at Manchester United now and go, unless, like Edward Wood said yesterday, you know, we've got the money to bring in players and retain players. But I said it last night, I think the sort of players you're going to attract, and there are plenty of them out there, are only going to be the sort of players that their money is their god. I think anybody who's actually looking at their career will probably swerve United for a Man City, for a Chelsea, for a Liverpool, because basically, if you were, I don't know, Christian Pulisic or even a let's go bigger than that, or an Antoine Griezmann, to come to United, you've really just got to go massive club, great fan base, big money, probably not going to be the best for my career. I mean, people spoke about Ronaldo coming to United. There's a guy who scores a goal every game or better. Coming to United was a big no-no. We don't create the chances for him to stat pad. So United really, for me, are a club that's now about players that are going to come here for money. I think anybody who's thinking about their career will swerve us.
Yeah. I'd imagine that obviously the more years that we go without having the successes within winning the Premier League, Champions League, or the other like FA Cups, all of those sorts of trophies, the more years that we go without it, obviously the more players are going to start looking into our track record, not so much on the history we've had long term, but the ones that we've had short term. And I think that's going to be a massive influence, say within the next 5 5-10 years for players, that's the sort of history they're going to be looking at before they come to Manchester United. And I think that's why it's such an important feat that we have to really improve our success sooner rather than later, just so that we can still have that same sort of pull that we would do now and say 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for calling in, pal. Sorry, I'm about to cough. Please do call in again.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Cheers, pal. Just a few people are talking about the new people are Skyping apparently. Live with Skype because I don't have to anymore. We don't do Skype call-ins anymore. We used to do Skype Goldbridge. It was okay, but we got so many people calling in, it crashed the system. We're on Discord now. It's going to be a bit of a learning curve for people. It was a learning curve for me, but it is absolutely fantastic. The link is in the video description. You can do it through your desktop, which is how I use it, or you can do it on your phone. I haven't got it on my phone yet, but effectively, the invite link is in the video description. You go onto Discord, and then you're in the United Stand Discord server. We've got, I mean, I should probably get the screen up. I've just not remembered, but we've got.
It's not even the fact that it's Andres Pereira. It's the fact that he's playing him over Matic.
Okay, we had Matthias straight in there. God knows what he was on about. Let's get Matthias back on. Throw him back in, moderators. Let's get him back on because he sounded like he wanted to have a go about something, which is good. But I'll explain the Discord thing towards you to you at the end. But effectively, we've got chat groups where you can just text away and chat, and we've also got the chats where you can just speak, which is what Matthias was doing in another chat group before he got pulled into the live show. So, Matthias, how you doing, pal?
I'm good. How are you, Matt?
Good, mate. You've intrigued me. You were having a bit of a rant there about Andres Pereira, probably on one of the chat groups. What was all that about? Hello?
What's that? You cut out for me.
I'll say, what were you on about then before you came in about Andres Pereira? I'm intrigued.
Oh, I was just saying, like, how there shouldn't be any way that Nemanja Matic or Fellaini should be starting over him, because I think he's the biggest prospect in United's academy right now. Well, not academy, but out of any young players at Manchester United right now. And the fact that Jose Mourinho isn't even giving him a chance, and he's putting people like Scott McTominay on the bench over Andres Pereira is just an absolute joke. And I think it's going to be the same thing that happened with Pogba. I think he's going to leave United, turn into a world-class midfielder, and then we're just going to look stupid for letting him go for nothing.
I think the thing that's so interesting about the Andres Pereira situation is I've been a fan of his for years, if anyone's been watching the United Stand, but he actually hasn't done anything wrong. He was brilliant on the US tour. He played very well against Leicester. Let's also forget that Pereira's playing out of position. This is Mourinho mindset here. I'm going to take an attacking midfielder and turn him into a CDM. He has half an average game against Brighton and never gets a look in again. I think his treatment of Pereira has been absolutely terrible. And then I watched England play last night. Jadon Sancho, absolutely brilliant. People are talking about him coming to Manchester United. Why? What are we going to do? Get him to sweep the dressing room? As if, we've already got Angel Gomez and Tahith Chong and Mason Greenwood, and I'm closer to the United first team than they are. We've got good young players. We've got good young players, and he won't use them. I think Angel Gomez played in the same England team as Jadon Sancho, and look at the contrast of their careers.
He's ruining the club.
I want to ask you, in relation to Jose Mourinho and the situation at Manchester United right now, what do you see the future over the next 6 months of Manchester United? Now, considering we have got some winnable games coming up after this international break, how long do you think this is going to go on for? Do you think he's going to survive?
Well, I feel like, we will win the easy games, like maybe parking the bus, maybe not, like the Crystal Palaces, the Southamptons. But I'm honestly, and this hurts me to say, but I'm scared that for when we verse Arsenal and Liverpool, I'm scared that, because Arsenal have been good this season, I'm scared that we're going to do the same thing we did against City and try and park the bus and have Matic and Fellaini in midfield. And then it's going to be the same old thing, we're just going to get embarrassed. And I don't know if we're even going to be above Bournemouth by Christmas at this rate.
You know what? I'm still going to do, you know, I know what's going to happen because I've been doing this thing for 4 years now, and I had it with Van Hal. I said, I'm Van Hal out, then we'd win a game and everyone would go, you're such a negative person, Goldbridge. I know what's going to happen. I know we're going to beat Palace. I know we're going to beat Fulham. I know we're going to beat Southampton, which will be 3 games in a row. And people will be like, give Mourinho a chance. And I'll be going, no, 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 no. I think we'll beat Arsenal as well. Then we'll go to Liverpool 2 weeks before Christmas, and we'll park the bus and everyone will get annoyed again. And I think we are, by the nature of what the club is doing to us, we have got a large proportion of our fan base, and I'm not criticising them, that have become a little bit flip-flop. And I think it's very difficult for them at the moment because they're being fed such bollocks from the club. Just want to ask you this question very quickly. Would you give Mourinho money in January?
I don't think we should, because I think it'll be the same thing with Fred. Within a month, he'll be on the bench or at home on his PlayStation, not playing with the team, and there'll be Matic and Fellaini over him, or if it's a forward, there'll be Lukaku over him, or Ashley Young or Valencia playing in defence over whoever we sign. And I think it's just a waste, because I think all Mourinho signings turn out to be just not good enough or on the bench. And that's the problem, really.
Great. Okay, well, thanks for calling in, mate. Really, really enjoyed it. And please do call in again.
Thank you, Mark.
Cheers, pal. A lot of people asking me about the Discord. We'll get another caller on now. There is, obviously, it's our first show, so there are slight teething problems, but I certainly think the show has been a real success, so please do drop a like on the video. It's so important for the United stand. I cannot overemphasise this enough. You know, this is not a channel that's about me, flex, rants, anybody else who comes on the show. It could be so easy. Every night I could just go live and it's me. I don't want that. I want your opinions. That's why we interview people outside the ground, and that's why I'm passionate about this, and that's why we've put the work into the Discord, because Skype was just not workable anymore. So yes, there are going to be a few teething problems, but this is what we're all about. And what I love about the Discord server is that when the United stand's not live, there are chat groups going on where you can go in and chat to people all over around the world. And I listen to it when I'm at work. I listen to people chatting away. So you probably don't understand the concept of Discord, but I didn't understand it, like I say. But you've got to go and mess around with it. The link's in the video description. Probably do it on a laptop, I would say. And as I said, once you're in there, you'll see down the left-hand side a list of things. At the top, you've got your text chat groups, and at the bottom, you've got your voice chat groups. You can go in the text chat groups, and it's like a running log. You know, people are talking about stuff you type. In the voice chat groups, you can go in, you can mute your microphone and just listen to people. If you unmute your microphone, you're chatting away. And how it works for the call-in is, there is a chat group called the live show queue. You go in there and our moderators will be listening to people talk, and when there is a gap, they will pull one of you into the live show and then you're chatting. So that's how it works. Link in the video description for that. But make sure you drop a like on the video, because these are the shows where it's all about. We've got time for another caller. Does someone else want to pop into the live chat? If we can pop one through and we'll see what they've got to say. We should have Lawrence. Can you hear me, Lawrence?
Yeah, hello Mark, how are we doing?
I'm good, thanks. Are you? Slight delay here. Yeah, are you alright, mate? What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I just wanted to say about I've been hearing some names about the different manager today. I've been hearing you've got your Eddie Howe, your Zidane, and your Blanc. So with Eddie Howe, it's the same happened with Moyes. He was consistent at a club, and then as soon as he made the jump to a big club, it all started to crumble. So I believe that's what will happen with Eddie Howe as well.
So sorry, what was that? You think Eddie Howe will come to United and it will crumble?
No, I was just saying I think the same has happened with Moyes in the past, where he was consistent at a club like Everton, and that's similar with Howe at Bournemouth. And when he makes a jump up, it'll all sort of go wrong in that way.
Right, right, okay. I mean, would you have Eddie Howe at Manchester United, or have you got a particular person that you think, as and when Mourinho does go, is the perfect person? Well, I think perfect's hard to say. I've said, look, there's no guarantees anymore. We got a manager who always wins the title in the first 2 years. He hasn't done that. I think we need to be patient with the next manager and expect nothing, really, because you can't expect anything now. But is there anybody in particular that you would look at?
In terms of developing youth, there's obviously Pochettino, but in terms of success, then you've obviously got to get Zidane with the Champions League.
Right. Okay. I mean, and Zidane's been mentioned a lot. Is Zidane somebody that you would look at, or do you think that potentially has its own issues?
I don't think it has his issues. I think Zidane is a very good manager. I think he could, obviously, the French connection with Pogba and Martial, I think that would work really well. But then I'm sort of leaning towards Pochettino with nurturing the young players like Gomez and Chong and that. I think he could really make them into something special.
And a different type of question, because I've asked a couple of people whether they would let Mourinho spend money in January, and I do actually feel that question is a little bit slanted from me, because obviously if somebody's Mourinho out, they're going to say don't let him have money. I think a better phrase of that question would be, let's imagine Jose Mourinho is staying till May no matter what. Would you give him money in January?
I'll freeze his credit card, Mark.
I mean, what do you think about his signings? Because are you happy? Do you think he's got it 50% right, 90% right, or do you think it's been a catalogue of errors? What are your thoughts on the 400 million he spent, just under?
I'd say the Pogba signing was a good signing, but under Mourinho, he's not getting the best out of him. And the same, I think the Fred was a bad signing. Under a different manager, Fred could be amazing, and also Lukaku, that signing as well.
I tell you what,
Lukaku's just been really bad.
I think the Fred signing, I said it at the time, the Fred signing excited me because he's nothing like Mourinho goes for. And he's 5'6", he's quick, he's tenacious, he's good on the ball, he's a bit of a flair box-to-box midfielder. And when we signed him, I was like, this isn't a Mourinho signing. And I remember people in the live comments going, "Oh, sit down, Goldbridge. You're always going on about him signing 6'2" midfielders, and he's bought somebody that's like somebody Liverpool or City would buy." And I was really excited about it. But I think we've answered our own question there. I mean, why Fred doesn't get picked? I mean, do you believe there is anything in this sort of rumour that goes round that these players are not Mourinho signings?
Because of the way they've turned, to come forward and say I back them 100%, then I'd look differently on that. But they're 100%. They're his signings. He is in charge of who he wants to bring into the club. He could, if someone offered him Lukaku, he could have easily said no, and he could have said who he would want to buy. But he's taken Lukaku, and it's just not worked out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for calling in, Lawrence. Really appreciate the call, and please do call in again.
Mark. Congratulations with the Discord. It's going really well, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I'm really, really enjoying it. Right, let's have a look at some of the super chats, because we've had a few tonight, and I don't want to neglect the live comments as well, because as you know, in the live comments, you do get your interactive shows. Saturday Night Live tomorrow night is always the Q&A show for the live comments, so we'll be doing that tomorrow night as well. But it's a weird time. It's a very weird time for United, and we're still a week away from that game at Crystal Palace. In fact, a week tonight, I will be up at Hotel Football for the Manchester Munich Memorial Foundation Gala dinner. I must put the link out in the description for that again, because I will be there, and if you want to come along, it's close to Christmas, come and have a drink. But Dylan Pidgley says, "You do a fantastic job, mate. Get yourself a pint." Thanks for the contribution there, Dylan. I certainly will. Kaushik Kamanand's made a contribution, thank you, but not left as a comment. And Mr. Silas 209, thanks for the contribution. He says, "Make a football team and challenge #United, Mark." Well, apparently, myth is there's a rumour that Arsenal Fan TV beat #United. So we sat Arsenal Fan TV down, so that means we're the best. But no, I'm only joking. This is the United Stand top, by the way, and this is the top I wore to win that game. Well, we won that game. But taking any more calls, Mark, says Mac. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. We haven't got anybody in the chat at the moment, so I'm happy to take another call if they want to throw somebody else in. I think we've got somebody now. True Red Devil, can you hear me?
Yes, hello, Mark.
How you doing?
Hello.
What do you want to talk about?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can all hear you. So what is it you want to talk about, pal?
Yeah, so I'm Jose Mourinho in.
Oh, hallelujah.
Out of the way.
Yeah, okay. So tell us why. Tell us why you're Mourinho in. This is it. We're all ears. Come on.
Yeah, so the thing is when we signed Jose Mourinho 3 years ago, because I'd been following him for a long time and I really liked Mourinho, not because of his football, but just his character. So I'd been following him. I even got his book and all that jazz. But then, yeah, so when he came in 3 years ago, I knew exactly what we're getting. We're getting a very pragmatic manager who was supposed to come and steady the ship and win us a league title within the next 2 years, according to his record, or at least 3 years. So the first red flags for me were Bailey and Eric Bailey in our center back position. I love Eric Bailey. I watched him in Spain. He kept Ronaldo out of a lot of games, but I really doubted that the best defensive manager, in my opinion, in the world wanted Eric Bailey as his first choice center back. I think the board from day one have let Mourinho down in terms of what players that he wanted, because I really refuse to believe that Mourinho couldn't identify a better centre back than Eric Bailly. Do I think Eric Bailly was on his list? Yes, but I don't think he was his first choice. And even if he signed Eric Bailly, and even if Eric Bailly was his first choice, Jose Mourinho doesn't have the luxury that Pep Guardiola, who he keeps getting compared to, has. Because Pep Guardiola signed a goalkeeper, he hated him. He threw another goalkeeper on loan. He brought in another goalkeeper. He kept changing his goalkeepers until he found the goalkeeper who could play the football that he wants. If Mourinho is not happy with Bailly, the board is not going to back him to get him a player that he needs to make his system work. So he has to be stuck with Bailly and try and make it work. So I'm not happy with his football. Don't get me wrong. I don't think his football is entertaining at all. But I knew that when it was coming. And I'm a bit disappointed in the board, because how are you going to extend his contract and basically tell him you've got faith in him and then go on not to back him in the summer, and now he's being left to dry because he's obviously the easiest man to target.
You know, it's interesting. I'm not going to knock your opinion because obviously you've explained it very, very well there. But, I mean, just going back to what you said at the start, you said, look, Mourinho guarantees a title. I mean, do you seriously think he can deliver a title? £400 million spent. We're 8th in the league. We've got negative goal difference. For me, this is only going one way.
I don't think Mourinho can deliver the title. Don't get me wrong, but like you mentioned, £400 million. The thing with Manchester United, and we know this, but we choose to ignore it. But we're the biggest club, and I don't think we get charged or priced the same way as other clubs. I know that might sound a little silly or a low blow, but it's quite factual. When clubs see Manchester United, they raise their prices for players. So yeah, it's 400 million. But then if you look at the players that we got, are they worth 400 million? I don't think Lukaku should be anywhere near the club, to be honest. That's one of Mourinho's biggest mistakes. He's not worth 75 million. I don't think Fred is worth 50 million. I don't think who else did we sign? We signed a lot of players for money that wasn't. Matic wasn't worth 40 million, for example. I would have paid 30 million really for Matic. Yeah. So I think with Manchester United, we get overpriced, and that's fine. That's not an excuse for Mourinho to play boring football. But I'm just saying, you know, it's easy for Mourinho to be the target. I've been watching your show, Mark, and you were Mourinho in for a long time. And I understand why you're Mourinho in. And I understand why you're Mourinho out right now. But I'm still Mourinho in because I still feel really, really angry at how the board has handled Mourinho. He's being treated like someone who I don't know, who's never achieved anything in his life. You know, it's like he's a dinosaur. But this guy won the Premier League with Chelsea 3 years ago. Yes, they went into a downward spiral afterwards, but he did win the Premier League 3 years ago, the hardest league to win in the world. He did win it 3 years ago.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna say anymore. You've made a very, very good point, and I'm just really appreciative that you came on to make that point. So thanks for calling in, pal, and please do call in again.
Yeah, I know it's not a popular point, but I really love your show, and I just thought I'd share my side of the story, you know?
No, I really appreciate it, and please do call in again. And I know that you get involved in the Discord chat, so I'm sure people can go and talk to you after the show if you're on there and, you know, express your opinion. So thanks very much, pal.
No problem, Mark. God bless.
You too, mate. And you know what? I know there's people in the live comments saying, well, he's deluded, this, that and the other. You know, 2 months ago, I was exactly the same as that. I will not disrespect somebody who's Mourinho in. I'll totally disagree because I've got my mindset and I've got my reasons why I'm Mourinho out. but I'm not going to have a pop at somebody who's Mourinho in, because like that caller said, for 2 years, I was backing Mourinho. 2 months ago, I was backing Mourinho. And if somebody's just a little bit behind me and they're still behind him, I know what they're on about. They're like, he can turn it around. Maybe he does need a little bit more money. You know, he will get there in the end. To me, it does appear deluded now, my opinion, but I do empathise with it because I was there not that long ago. And, you know, you can't have a knock at somebody else's opinion. We've had a couple of comments tonight that I've read. I can't see where it's gone now. Maybe the comment got deleted. It was like another misleading title. Right, let's have a look at the title then. The title of the show tonight, No More Money Mourinho! Exclamation mark. Then, the description of the show. Manchester United should not give Jose Mourinho another penny for transfers, says Mark Goldbridge. Should Mourinho get funds in the January transfer window? Question mark. Get involved. How is that a misleading title when it clearly says No More Money Mourinho? I present the show and I'm saying, don't give him another penny, and then we take your calls. Concept, brain, engage, end of story. Dig it? You know, it's very, very easy. Very, very easy to understand. Look, smash a like on the video, everybody. Really, really enjoyed it, and I think this Discord thing is a game changer. Not only because we've got options now where we can get callers in, we'll be able to do a lot more call shows, you know, especially after the match. You know, Skype was dying anyway. But I tell you what, the call-ins I wanted to do after the show, Skype just can't handle that shit. It can't handle like hundreds of you wanting to get on, whereas Discord can, so it's great. So what I'm just going to do, please do drop a like on the video. Remember to subscribe if you're new, because we're over 300,000 subscribers now. And somebody just says, can you just show us on screen how Discord works? So I'm just going to go and do it for you now. Let me get the Discord app up and running again. And I just need to mute my microphone. Okay, so let me go into, okay, now I've got so many messages to read on Discord. Right, it may look a little bit of a mess, but this is our Discord server. Okay, let me go on to the general chat, and there's the welcome page. So if you click the link in the video description, you will go into the United Stand Discord server, and it looks a mess, but it's very, very simple. Right, so down the left-hand side here, you've got the welcome page, which just tells you about it. You've got United latest videos, which is all our videos that we put up. You've got the general chat 1, 2, and 3, where you can see people are just chatting away about Mourinho mainly, tactics, stuff like that. So that's just a general tap thing. So I can just type in, hello, there we go. And you can do that, and people will just chat via text. You've got the Mourinho debate, you've got the latest transfer news, you've got Rivals chat, you've got Bex, you've got Xbox gaming, PlayStation, PC game. That's all moderator stuff, you don't need to know about that. And then you move to the voice channels at the bottom. So in the live show, that's where I've just been talking, Waldbridge, Paul Robinson was on. Then you've got the live show call queue, where loads of people are waiting, absolutely loads of people are waiting to come onto the show. And that is where our moderators, when then people are talking, when there's a gap, they'll drag them into the show for me and I'll talk to them. So that's how it works. You don't call directly into me, you wait in the live show queue and you get dragged in, okay, from there. When we're not live, you've got the United Voice chat 1, 2 and 3, which is where people are chatting away 24/7. So if I go into the United Voice chat 1,
I know. See, I don't necessarily believe that though, because Pogba come up in our youth academy. He knew Carrick was.
Neil Warnock could be an extravagant pick.
And there you go.
Well, Neil, I don't know about.
And you got people there who are having a good old chat about United. 24/7 people are doing that. 24/7. So you've got your voice chats there where people are just chatting away. You know, it's nothing to do with the United Stand YouTube channel. That's the United Stand Discord, where people are just chatting away via text or having voice chats 24/7. And that's how it works. It's been absolutely game changer for us. We're absolutely loving it. Links in the video description for that. You'll get used to it. 3 days ago, I didn't even know how this worked. You will get used to it and you'll see how it works, and we'll keep plugging it. But it's going to be great for the channel and it's going to be great for you lot, because you're going to get more and more involved. We're going to have stuff on the Discord. I listen into a lot of the Discord chats as well, and people, you know, get little messages from me saying, can you come on the show? The suggestions, all sorts going on. Why aren't they listening to the show? Parade 271. Don't worry, I'm going to go and block all of them now. I'm going to go and block all of them now. Why are they having a chat amongst themselves and not listening to me? It's a very, very good point. But Faraz, the link is in the video description for Discord. It's an invite link. All you've got to do is click it. If you're on Discord, you'll go into our group. If you never use Discord, you just download it and go into the group. Get involved. You will love it. Trust me. Me and Marcus, we were like, how the hell does this work? At the end of the week, we love it. It's absolutely fantastic. But thanks, everybody, for watching tonight. Please do drop a like on the video. I've really loved having this back. It's so important that we have these shows back. And we will be live tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with a more interactive live chat Q&A. And yeah, really enjoyed it tonight. Keep this going. Keep this momentum going. We've got to keep this momentum going. This momentum of unacceptability around our club. We're an embarrassment. We're a joke. We're being run terribly. All this talk about, oh, it's been a mixed start. We're going to turn it around. Sit down. 8th in the league with a negative goal difference playing shit football. Come on. Sort it out. Sort it out. Anyway, thanks everyone. The weekend is here. I hope you have a good start to your weekend. And I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching.